before you from our previous meeting. I'd entertain a motion to approve them.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Mari, second by Julie. Any changes, corrections, or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda. We have the agenda for this meeting, April 9th, 2024. Thank you, Mike. Do we have a second? Second by Mari.
There will not be, I know you're doing this here, but no Southern Plains board meeting. We did not meet because of the weather or
Okay.
so.
Any other changes to the agenda? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. And we'll move on to our celebration and school community reports. Mr. Mahoney.
Thanks for having me. We got first pitch here in softball in about 14 minutes, so I'm going to make it kind of quick, but at the same time, make sure they get their recognition. So right after Thanksgiving, kind of put a committee together to select our AAA winners. Usually I get an admin, a band representative, music representative, fine arts coach, and then a senior advisor. So there's about 6 of us in this room, and I get the applications already. We put them on Jane's desk, and everybody applies that wants to apply can apply for the AAA position. So long story short, we ended up having about a handful of girls, handful of boys, and Isaac Sheard and Abby Pyman were selected as our 2024 AAA winners. Couldn't be more proud of these two. Right now I'm currently working on our senior letter award winners. So we give a plaque out at the end of May, and just seeing what these kids have accomplished in their last 4 years, 5, 6 years, it's amazing. And as I'm doing this, there's kids that have 13 letters, and there's kids that have 18 and 20 and 21, and we're talking multiple kids. So we just got a really good thing going on, and our kids are just thriving in multiple activities. So couldn't be more proud of them. But these two were selected by our committee to represent Fairmont as our AAA winners. I'm going to talk real briefly about both of them, and you guys can ask them questions. They're shy, so please ask them questions. And if I get your GPAs wrong or if it's changed, let me know. But Abby has had a fantastic career at FHS. She has taken 2 AP classes, 12 college and the school courses, while maintaining a 3.99 GPA. Is currently ranked in the top 10 in the class. Top 15, okay. This past fall, Abby was a captain of our girls' tennis team, was a key member of our team that finished 4th in the state during her sophomore year. Abby was also selected to the Big South All-Conference team her junior and senior years. Abby has been a mainstay on the girls' basketball team, where she's been a participant since 7th grade. Abby has also had her stamp in the fine arts here at Fairmont. Abby has performed in the band, the choir, the orchestra while attending FHS. Now, I'm pretty sure your number of letters, I think you're right around 20. So I'm not 100% here, but also at the same time in band, choir, and orchestra. So she's taking these classes all in the same semester, which is extremely impressive. This past fall, Abby was Dorothy in the school musical, The Wizard of Oz, and has been a huge contributor in our musical ever since she was in 7th grade. And Frozen, Elsa or Anna? Anna, okay, good. Maya's going to really love you. In speech, Abby has been on the varsity since her 9th grade year. Abby is qualified for the Class A state speech meet in her sophomore and junior year, and placed 7th at state as a junior. Currently a captain on our speech team, which has sections on Friday. Am I correct? And our speech team has had a huge year. So it's going to be fun to see all those results come in on Friday. Next year, Abby will be attending Wartburg College down in Waverly, Iowa. Going to pursue an elementary education major as well as a coaching minor, and we'll be playing tennis for the Knights. So, Abby Pyman. Any questions for Abby?
Did your athletic activities director in any way influence or bias your decision of university?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I did. And, her coach came up and came in, and I met him for the first time, and this was in maybe like September, October. And God, we sat in my office and we talked for like 45 minutes. It was fun. It was great talking. So I think Abby's going to have a heck of a career down there. So anything else for Abby? No?
So what
doing great.
Okay. You guys are doing really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my first time doing that, and I've really liked it.
And we got Isaac Sheard here. Isaac has also kept himself busy while attending school here at FHS. Over the past 4 years, Isaac has taken 9 AP courses as well as 17 college in the school courses while maintaining a 4.3. Hey, look at these guys. 4.396 GPA to land him in the top 5 of the senior class. Isaac has found a lot of success in the fine arts, where he's been in the band since 7th grade. During his time in the band, he has received 3 superior ratings as well as being a section leader. What instrument? Alto saxophone. Isaac has thrived in the robotics competition. I would say Isaac is one of the key members of our state team from last year, and I think what's really impressed me out of Isaac in robotics is how he has really kind of brought robotics to the front, to the main level. I think he's been one of the driving forces of kind of getting everybody else enthused and excited about robotics. Got shirts, got jackets, you name it. So it's been really fun. I did watch their Duluth one, and we were just talking here. We missed out on state by, what was it? 1 match. So we were really close. And part of that I've learned throughout this is you compete, but then you also have another team. So you have 2 teams that you're kind of partnering with. So you really need, your other teams to help pull their weight as well. And so fortunately, we just didn't have the best matches, but it was fun to watch, and it was fun to watch. They were shooting stuff, and it was cool. It was amazing. Isaac, like I said, is a key member of our 2023 Minnesota State High School League State Championship. He has served as the lead programmer, team captain, the driver. He's done it all. He's also competed in football, basketball, track and field. Why don't you tell him what's going to happen next year?
I will be attending Massachusetts Institute of Technology next fall.
MIT.
Nice.
And what will you be majoring in?
Aerospace engineering.
So, any questions for Isaac?
You made your decision rather quickly, because I know it was just like a week ago. I think your mom told me that you were accepted, and you had quite the list of things narrowed down to. So congrats on making that decision. Abby, I know you've had yours made for a while, and there's no perfect recipe for that, and I'm glad each of you have found a place that you're confident in and excited about for next year. So always great to watch you from afar the next few years and see what you accomplish at the collegiate level and beyond. And as you accomplish those things, please remember us in the future.
So,
Yeah. Let's give him a round of applause.
I just wanted to ask Isaac if he had any specific field after college that he had his mind on that he might be interested in. So just
NASA.
Oh, field.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the space industry at this point. That's kind of my goal. We'll see where that takes me.
all right.
To Mars.
Maybe.
Cool. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Congratulations.
I just got a couple other things here. I'm good on time here. On that front spot there. If you go down to the bottom right where it says total numbers, it should be 276. Currently, kids out for spring sport. If you look up at the top, track and field, that's kind of traditionally always been our big one. We have 135 kids out, 63 girls, 72 boys. Between baseball and softball, we're at 98 kids. And typically the past practice for our softball, we've always had a varsity, a JV, and then 1 junior high team, and that's what we currently have. Our numbers are really good. If we had a few more pitchers, then we might be able to have a C squad or another junior high, but we're just pitching in softball is so key. In baseball, our numbers are a little bit lower, but it's not too bad. we have 50, so we have 3 levels right now, and then we have 1 junior high. And we just got kids kind of moving around and shuffling around a little bit. So our numbers, they're not horrible. Golf, we're at 24, which again it's a good number between both squads there. It's some of the specialty in the springtime. It's hard to retain and get some of these kids out. Boys tennis, we did have 19 kids sign up for boys tennis, and our trap shooting numbers are really good as well at 43. So what I think I'm going to do here before the end of the year is I'm going to just kind of compare where we're at in 24 to where we're at 23, where we're at in 22. Just kind of see if there's a 3-year trend there of good, bad, indifferent. I do know compared to other schools, some schools it's a nightmare and they don't have all the levels. They don't have, kind of what we have. I think we're right where we need to be, in my opinion. So obviously it would be great to have 5 levels in baseball and softball, but that's not always the case. So as far as the numbers go, we're off to a good start. I was actually in the softball new shed today. It looks fantastic. And just how they did all the dirt work, and when you walk up to it, really cool. It's gonna be really nice. I think the community's gonna really like it. But we're off and running. I think softball is 1-1. Baseball, I believe, is 1-1. Track and field has had a couple meets now. Our golfers, girls, just got started last Saturday. Boys tennis are 1-0. They beat Worthington last night. So we're off and running. Like I said earlier, this is the fun/wild time of the year. I got a text message at 9:30 this morning and asked if we could host a softball game today. So called a couple people and we host a softball game in 3 minutes. So that's just how it works in the springtime. Some of the highlights from the wintertime. Overall, we had a pretty good winter. There was, I wouldn't say nothing bad or nothing big. We were able to host a couple first-round games. Our girls' basketball team had a nice run again. I believe they lost in the subsection final, which when you're at that level, that's where you want to be. So boys hockey, they kind of struggled a little bit, but they were able to win their first play-in game, which was kind of fun for those guys to kind of finish the year on a high note. Our wrestling team, we were a 2 seed, but we were just kind of down, and we just lacked that senior leadership that kind of gets you over the hump, and we just did not have that this year. And but our numbers are really good. And you got to have numbers down below, and we got numbers down below, so that's good. Our gymnastics teams, they were the Big Southeast Division winners. I went over there and watched them at Worthington, and we're going to be good for a few years to come here, which is going to be exciting. So it's fun watching them. Our debate, mock trial have been great. Boys basketball team, they started off the year, it was like they were stuck in football mode for a while, and then they kind of came to it, and then they made a huge run. They ended up beating Jackson by 20, and then we just kind of faltered a little bit at the end there, but a lot of those guys will be back next year, so that should be a fun year. Had a lot of talk about the Big South Conference, and the ADs and the superintendents, we all met, and looking at somewhat of a realignment, and we're kind of in the perfect spot because we're right in the middle of the enrollment, and we're kind of, I don't want to say this, you got your north schools and you got your west schools, and we're just kind of like in a really good spot where we can go about anywhere and everywhere. So bottom line, starting the school year of actually next spring, it's going to be a big, small divisions, 2 divisions. We're going to have a black and a gold, really based on size. Fairmont's going to go down to the small school. The main reason for that is Belle Plaine. If Fairmont and Belle Plaine could be flipped, but Belle Plaine would have to travel Laverne to Pipestone, Jackson to Windham, where it made more sense for us because we're traveling that way for all of our section games anyways. Basketball, baseball, wrestling. So it just made more sense to flip those schools, and everybody's okay with it. So that's where we're at with that. Huddle's been a great addition for us. We have it in the gym, and both of our softball games we've had on Huddle, and we were able to get Tyler Garrison and his crew. We ended up putting a mount in the press box for baseball. So if you go on to Huddle Fan, you can actually watch our last 2 softball games and our baseball game. So kind of a cool deal, free of charge. And we're going to end up getting a pole camera here soon as well. So make sure you remind me of that. Got a lot of stuff going on in our gym. I'm sure Andy has kind of filled you in a little bit on what we're doing with our gym, but I was up at the AD conference here about 2 weeks ago and got some quotes on just looking to kind of, I don't want to say spice things up, but our scores table has been there for 20 years. Just a lot of things. It's time to upgrade and make it a little more flashy. So that'll be coming. We did receive 3 AEDs from Mayo. I also wrote a grant to get some of those. So now every sport currently has an AED machine, except for golf. Golf is the only one that we don't. But we're going to work on that. Formal coaches evaluation, been working with the coaches on the wintertime, and that's been going really good. Something different for them, and it's been good for me to give them some positive feedback, some corrective feedback, and things that maybe they didn't look at it from this angle where they could grow and make their programs better. So, and I got something up my sleeve that I'm going to kind of add to that. So we're going to keep that under my sleeve for right now. I've talked about robotics. Again, they had a good little year there. They just missed out. Unfortunately, we had such a good team, quality driver, quality people. But like I said to him, it is what it is. And, at the end of the day, you're going to learn a lot of life lessons of being there and not being there. So, outside of that, it's been a great year, to be honest with you. It's been a great year working with the admin and coaches and the parents and the students and the community. We're in a really good spot. So, questions?
Matt, I know on here you have a sub note of regarding our transportation and bus things. I know there were some communicated, maybe some community concerns, but
Yep.
One of the things with that is Minnesota Motor Bus, as you note or have noted, have been really great to work with. And
Awesome.
they do a fantastic job of problem solving, not only just in general as a school district, but can you speak to that a little bit and
Yeah.
where you're at and how
Yeah.
that's gone?
I think the biggest thing right now with our transportation issue that we just have, and we're not the only school. We're supposed to play Worthington in tennis tonight, and we moved it tomorrow because Worthington had 5 or 6 buses out, so they couldn't. Otherwise, we were going to start at 5:30 tonight. So we said, no, let's play on Monday, and it worked out for both of us and the way we went. But I think the biggest thing with this right now is we are short on drivers. It has made us, get creative. All of our junior high sports are starting later. So we're just saying the bus is going to be there at 4. Once they get done with the route, they'll be there at 4, and away they go. That way we don't have to scramble last minute. Parents know, everybody knows. Shouldn't be an issue. But I think the biggest takeaway right now that where I'm at with this and with Minnesota Motor Bus is that we have not had to cancel any events because of shortage of bus drivers. We just have had to get creative, and we had to call other places to come help us out, but we're making it work. So I think that at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. We haven't had to miss out on anything.
So you mentioned calling and working out. So where are you calling for help? Or I mean, I know you mentioned schools ranging different nights,
Yep.
different times.
Yep. So when we, one of the issues that we had was when we had our big South speech meet at Worthington, it was the same day that we had our big band solo ensemble at Lake Crystal. So we ended up having we had to be there at 8:30, or we had to leave Fairmont at like 8:15. So we couldn't use the school buses because they were still out in their route. We actually had Lake Crystal come down, pick our kids up, drive them up there. Our buses went up, picked them up, brought them home.
Sure.
So that's where we've had to get creative, and it's this hard when you're hitting the route times early in the morning, or mid-afternoon, and that's usually when we get most of our buses to go out. Is that 3 o'clock time frame. So that's what's tough. I think here in a couple weeks we're going to Gustavus for band, and we're taking 3 coach buses. 2 of them are ours, and then we're getting our Marshall's coming down because Minnesota Motor Bus works with Marshall. So they're going to drive a coach bus down, pick our kids up, away they go, bring them back, then back up to Marshall.
Is there like times like when you have a small participation event, like let's just say 10 students, 15 students, whatever, but you're going to another area,
Yep.
Mankato, someplace, but then you could pick up students in Truman or pick up.
Yep.
I mean, are you doing some of that as well to kind of you
Yeah.
know economic?
Yeah.
You
so
know-
so if we have a smaller group, then we take school vehicles, and so then
So then coaches can drive
Yes.
or
Yep, and there's been times where, I know that I've had to drive over to Blue Earth with our knowledge bowl, so I'll drive them
Sure.
over, drop them up, come back, do my work, go back, pick them up. Kate and Molly, we're doing that with music kids, so we're using about every resource and problem solving. And
no, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you talking about this because it was a headline in the newspaper, and I
Yep.
know it got a lot of press.
Sure.
And so I just want the community to realize
Yeah.
that we're aware,
Oh, yeah.
but yet that we are working through this, and we are working for our students, and our students are getting there. They're getting on time, and yet we may adjust the starting times and that, but we are getting our students,
Yep.
and they're still being involved in
Yep.
that. And so I just think that's important because sometimes those things don't always get told.
Correct.
You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
you get one side of the story, or you
Correct.
get
Yeah.
part of the story. Just like you go to the coffee shop and
Yep.
you get something, and somebody hears a conversation off another table. Didn't hear both sides of the conversation.
Yep.
You know, so sometimes we don't hear it all. So I do
Yep.
appreciate what
Yep.
you've shared tonight.
Yep, and I think too, like with Minnesota Motor Bus, we have plenty of buses. We just don't have enough drivers, and that's what it's coming down to. And like I said, it's not a Fairmont problem. It's all over the place.
And
So-
thank you for your continued efforts and collaboration to
Yep.
make sure our
Absolutely.
kids get the
Yeah.
experience that
Yeah.
that
It's
we expect for them.
it's my job, but
Yep.
it's also
Yep.
oh, Dave Hearn's calling, like here we go, and so we figure it out. So
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
all right, awesome, thank you.
See you, Matt.
Moving on to, we have a special presentation from our high school weightlifting program, Ms. Sauterston.
Hi, I'm Josie Soderston. I am a high school social studies teacher here at Fairmont.
I'm Andy Soderston. I'm a PE teacher over at Southern Plains.
And this school year, this winter, we started a weightlifting team at Fairmont High School. We have two of our weightlifters with us today.
My name's Otto Neusch, and I'm a senior at Fairmont High School, and I'm here on behalf of the Fairmont weightlifting team.
Hi, my name is Jackson Gorskowski, and I go to Grenade Huntley East Chain, and I am a sophomore.
In total, we had 6 athletes participate in the weightlifting team this last winter, so that's not reflected on the winter sports list, which makes me sad. But we had 6. 4 from Fairmont, 1 from Grenada, and 1 homeschooled individual who also does sports through Fairmont. And we brought the boys today to talk to you a little bit about the sport of weightlifting, what it is, because we all know weightlifting involves weights, but you don't often hear about it as being a competition or a sport, and then we'll recap how our first season went. Jackson's going to start us off.
Maybe you want to put it on the table here, and would that be easier for?
Yeah, this
Okay.
will work. All right. So, the Minnesota High School weightlifting entered its 15th year this season, and the competitive season occurs during the winter sport season, so winter. It consists of several regular season meets and ends with a state championship meet. This year we attended meets at Tri-City United, Cannon Falls, Little Falls, Lakeville South, Northfield, and Prior Lake. I qualified for the state weightlifting meet in Cannon Falls as the first adaptive weightlifter in the state of Minnesota. Weightlifters can qualify for and compete in national meets as well. Mackenzie Gerhart, an 8th grader, qualified for nationals for her age and weight class, which will be held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this summer. The sport of weightlifting in Minnesota is very competitive, but with a very friendly atmosphere. And while weightlifting is a sport by itself, it has many benefits for athletes of other sports, and all are encouraged to participate because these lifts are done so explosively. They are the best way to develop muscle, yes, muscle, not musical. Muscle power and fast twitch muscle fibers needed for the other sports.
So the sport of weightlifting was one of the original modern Olympic sports in 1896, but form of it existed for several thousand years before that. Today, athletes compete in two different lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk. Each athlete determines what weight they want to start at, then gets 3 attempts to make the lift. If they make it on their first try, the weight can be increased. The best successful lift on both the snatch and the clean and jerk are added together to result in a lift total. Athletes compete in weight classes, and places are determined by the highest lift total. The snatch is the lift that is performed. The athlete grips the bar with a wide hand position, then explosively heaves it up overhead in one swift motion. The athlete drops under the bar, catches and stabilizes it, and then stands up while holding the weight in an overhead position. So our coach, Andy, here is going to demo you guys what a snatch looks like. So that's how you do it. If any of you guys want to try it up here now, we could also do that. So for the next lift, the clean and jerk is the second lift that is performed. With this lift, the athlete pulls the bar up off the floor, drops under it to catch the bar at the shoulders, then stands up tall. From here, the lifter dips down and then explosively drives the weight up overhead, catching it with the arms and elbows fully extended. The athlete finishes the lift in a standing position with the weight remaining in the overhead position. So Andy, show us. So yeah, they're similar lifts, but they're both different, and they get judged different and everything like that too.
So there's 3 judges at the competition. They each will either hold up a red or a white light. Usually they have a clicker, but sometimes it's old school with like paddles. And the goal is to get 3 white lights. So 2 will do the trick, but 3 is ideal. And like I said, we had 6 students this winter, which was awesome. They all, from the 6 meets that we attended, all of them came home with a medal at some point. So they placed within their gender and their age categories and weight categories. So very similar to wrestling in that sense. We have 1 student attending nationals, so that's awesome. This will be her, perhaps Jackson. It's a long way to travel to Pittsburgh, but don't ask me why Pittsburgh. We're not really thrilled about that. Last year I was in Colorado, so that was a great trip, but I don't know what to do in Pittsburgh. But yeah, I mean, I think we all had a great time. And to just continue to grow.
Hopefully, we're going to work with another school maybe next year to be able to get a home meet, to be able to maybe with one other school, because we just don't have the equipment to host 5 or 6 other schools. One other school we could probably do.
Yeah, we would go to these meets, and there was 300 lifters from across the state at these meets, and they'd be very long meets. We would take a school vehicle up, and we'd be there all day. Mackenzie, our 8th grade girl, would lift right away at 8 a.m., and then Anthony would, a sophomore, would lift at 4 o'clock. So we were there for a very long time, but they're a lot of fun. Questions?
So if a student first time joins this weightlifting, what weight do you start at? What is just the bar?
We start with that. That's a PVC pipe, and that's where they start until they learn the technique how their body moves, and from there we move to an empty barbell, which is about 10 pounds.
Sure.
Or well, it's all in kilos. Weightlifting is a kilo sport,
Sure.
so that's fun. And then from there, you just go up kilo by kilo, 1 kilo at a time, and they start where they are able.
Okay. So what is the most our students have lifted? I mean, is it to the best is just the form and the, to be successful just, with the lift, or is it weight included?
Weight is included, so how we're scoring is by weight, but a pretty lift is a good lift. I'd rather it be a pretty lift than a heavy lift.
Sure.
As long as you look good doing it, that's all we can ask for, and the weight will cover it.
Okay.
You gotta look good first.
Thank you. Thanks. Like I said, it's a new sport for a lot of people, and so thank you for taking the time to explain it, come to us and share the adventures and the experiences of our students.
So quick question. The judge criteria, I'm assuming, is based on form and technique?
No.
Because the weight's the weight? Or how do they judge
Just your
the
elbows,
criteria?
essentially.
Okay.
I mean,
So it's all what's happening when you're going overhead, basically. So if
Got
I
it.
was going into a jerk here and I did something and had to press it out, that
Sure.
wouldn't count as
Got it.
It has to be that once I've gotten under the bar, everything's locked.
Yep.
That is at the same time.
Thank you. And when you say pretty lift, those are usually the safest as well, too, because their form is...
technically sound.
Yes.
That's what we mean by pretty.
Yep.
I don't know if any of those are really pretty.
It's hard in motion.
Yeah.
So I have a question for Jackson. Where did you get inspired to try this and do this? And do you have any different rules that you have to follow when it comes to your lifts?
So, I actually heard about the competitive side of weightlifting from one of my friends who has been doing it with these guys for a while now. And for the lifts themselves, I obviously can't squat down to pick up the bar, so Andy will come and he'll set the bar on my lap, and then all I have to do is just from the bar up underneath my chin and then up overhead. And then that's for the clean jerk. And then for the snatch, it's just from here, wider grip, straight up. So,
And we kind of, since he's the first, we kind of made the rules this year with Minnesota, but we've been reached out to by the National USAW Weightlifting Federation, so to work with us on what this will look like for adaptive athletes at a national level.
Awesome.
So what we're doing here is groundbreaking.
Very cool.
What Jackson is doing is groundbreaking.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, with Jackson and with Nelson, our state champ in track and field, I think it's fantastic that we have young folks in this area who are very inspiring in what they do, and keep at it, keep it up.
thank you.
Well, congratulations, and thank you for sharing. We look forward to seeing more of you and of the program and its growth. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have another celebration. It is the Week of the Young Child, and it's also the ECFE 50th anniversary. And ECFE is Early Childhood Family Education.
Good evening. Thanks so much for having us. My name is Sandy Solter, and I am the ECFE parent educator for our program.
And I'm Lexi Clementson. I teach both ECFE classes as well as Discovery Place preschool classes.
All right, and as Nicole said, ECFE stands for Early Family Childhood Education. It's a program that's actually unique to Minnesota. You won't be able to call up another state if you move and say, hey, what's your ECFE program? Like, how can I get involved? They won't have it. So we're very fortunate here in Minnesota to have this wonderful program that focuses on early childhood and families. We know how important that stage of life is. There's so much learning and development that goes on from birth to 5 years old that we can't replace. So this is a super important program, and like Nicole also said, it's the 50th anniversary this year, so super exciting. I, as a parent, actually went 25 years ago, and through, I still attend with my youngest. So I've been doing it as a parent a long time, but this is my 6th year as the parent educator, which I feel so fortunate and privileged to do. It's the best job in the world. At ECFE, we get to work with both the youngest and the oldest students in our district because we're working with parents alongside their kids. We provide education and support to both parents and grandparents, though we welcome any caretakers to come with their child. Excuse me. We do provide learning opportunities in multiple different ways, such as our classes that we hold here in the school building, home visits, online parenting education, and other support and resource information. For those of you who aren't as familiar with ECFE, a traditional class is our most popular way that we provide services through ECFE. So that would include the parent and the child, or the grandparent and the child coming to school, having time, which typically is about half the class, to just interact with the activities that the early childhood educator has put out for them that day. They let their child kind of lead them through. They just get that one-on-one opportunity to learn and explore. Then our early childhood teacher does a circle time, and the kids end up staying with the early childhood teacher and our aides while I take the parents to another room for their parent education portion of class. So that's our most traditional common form of parenting and early childhood support that we give families. In that way, it's usually the family's first experience with the district, so we're really proud of the experience that we're providing them in our program. We have both age-specific classes, such as infant class, as well as mixed age classes where we invite birth to 5. This year, we were excited to offer a new class. It involves families that have a kindergartner through 2nd grader. It was super exciting. It's been so much fun. Mrs. Emily Lubenow has been our teacher for that, along with me for the parent education. It's just been so exciting and fun to see it grow in that way. Our work is really, really important for many reasons, including the fact that parents are a child's first teacher. And now Lexi's going to tell you some more of those reasons.
Hi. I'm going to preface this with saying my expertise is speaking in front of ages 1 to 5, so excuse my crackling in my voice and my sweating and shaking, but thank you so much again for having us. I could stand here in front of you and express the countless benefits of ECFE as a program. Ask me anytime you'd like, but for time's sake, I just really wanted to highlight what parents have expressed, their gratitude for the program, positive experience that they have had with ECFE, and just where it has led them to be at in their educational career with their children. So just to highlight some of those, parents have reported how ECFE has linked them with other families and community resources as well. They have shared how ECFE has helped them better understand their child's needs and development. They have shared the positive changes in that development, in their child's social skills, language skills, and problem-solving skills as well. And another big one is how ECFE has connected them with the district and how it has made their transition into, both for their child and for themselves, into the district more seamless. So yeah, with that, I will pass out our brochure that we're currently updating. So if you guys notice any errors, not been me in the least bit. But I also get the opportunity and the privilege to experience ECFE both from a parenting perspective and teaching perspective. I believe Abby went to ECFE with her mom when she was little too, and I see lots of friendly faces at this table of children that we've had to have the opportunity to teach, whether it was in ECFE or in our Discovery Place preschool program. So, you guys have any questions?
It's a very valuable program. My children were graduates. we started in Ceylon School, started the actual ECFE program in the Ceylon School District, and then merged into Fairmont. And I can't tell you how much I have seen it grow in through the Fairmont district, but just the benefits. And to me, the most amazing fact with ECFE is kids learn and don't even know they're learning. They are having so much fun, and they measure, they draw, or whatever they're doing, or whatever the activities are selected for them, they are learning and not even knowing that they're learning math or they're learning science. They see the chemical reactions of different things. It's just amazing, and I thank everybody for that opportunity to provide for all of our students, but especially for those younger students, birth to 5, and wonderful. I didn't realize that there even was a program that went up to 2nd grade. So wonderful. I just so happy to hear that. But it's so beneficial to families.
I'd just like to add, I had the privilege of working as a teacher in this building and as an administrator, and to see the growth of the program has been incredible over the years. And I know from the early childhood family education into preschool, right into our early elementary years, it really does help establish that solid foundation for our kids. And all 4 of ours are in the school system, have benefited from it. And I know she's behind the camera right now, but to have a dedicated administrator to your program too, Michelle Rosen, in the work that she does, and has been an integral part of growing that program, as Julie alluded to, from her time in Ceylon to the transition with the consolidation over the years in that. So I think it's important to acknowledge the work that Michelle does too, alongside all of you, in developing and growing these programs. So it's a team effort, and thank you for what you do for our school district, our community, and our families.
Do you have this available in Spanish too, I'm
Yep,
assuming?
I should have noted that. It's like I said, we're planning on getting it printed in time for our open house next week, Tuesday. And yes, we are getting it translated in a Spanish version as well. Thank you for asking.
Just one more side note. It's not that Lexi and I don't care about the rest of the meeting, but I am currently supposed to be in a class right now. So I'm going to run, and Lexi comes with her child to class, so she's going to run too.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our superintendent's report and calendar.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. I'm going to revise this slightly from what you have in front of you and move some things to our 2nd April meeting for the sake of time. Great reports that we've had, and some of this stuff is not time sensitive, but we can move through that. As part of the enrollment, good news there from the last report, which was a month ago because of our canceled meeting. Previously, we were up 9 students, so our current enrollment is 1,702, still within that range. And from, when I commented on this last, our student enrollment is critically important to the work that we do. Obviously, we're not here without our kids and our students, so just extremely important that remains stable and heading in a positive direction. The FY24 budget review and FY25 budget projections, I'm going to move that to the next board report, the 2nd meeting in April, just acknowledging some of the changes that are coming with ESSER funds and how things relate to state funding and our enrollment. One thing I do want to highlight, because it has been released throughout the state recently at the end of March, was our 2023 graduation rate data. So these students were freshmen in the 1920 school year. And that began arguably,
2020.
did I say 1920?
Yeah.
Did I misspeak?
Yeah.
Oh, my apologies. They were freshmen in the 1920.
No, 2020.
2019, 2020.
2019, 2020. I was abbreviating. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm following. I'm
We're all
following.
looking
We
over
couldn't
saying,
hear the
"Wow,
hyphen."
You're like
No,
104
yeah.
years old.
Abby was. Yeah, I will start that comment over. And they were freshmen, not in the year 1920, but in the 2019-2020 school year. And obviously, we know the spring of that was disrupted, and they went through quite tumultuous 2020-2021 school year as sophomores. And so for them to continue to pursue academic growth and excellence through that is absolutely commendable. The state average of 58,293 graduates, the state graduation rate was 83.3%. Ours locally for the 2023 class was 88.9%. So well above the state average. And when you look historically, we won't know what the 2024 graduating class rate is for another year, but back to 2019, our range of graduation rates from 89.7 to 90.4 in 2020, 88.8, 87.6, and 88.9. Considering what our class of 23 went through in their education, I think it's worth noting and commendable that while the state average decreased 0.3, from last school year, we increased by 1 3/10% our graduation rate. And so that's something, while it's not where we want it to be, ultimately, our goal is 100% of our kids graduate, but comparatively, when you look at the data, something to still is a positive note for our school district. Any questions on that before I move on to a couple more points?
Well, I think has our graduation rate been above the state's through those years?
Correct.
I mean, I think that would be important data to be,
yes,
part of that as well, is that we have maintained, or our students have, had numbers or percentages are greater than the state average.
Correct. That is a correct statement. And then next, just to make note, we will be in the near future here embarking on a facility needs assessment, a comprehensive look at where our facilities are at, looking at our assets, future needs, reviewing our projects. It's something that hasn't been done in a great depth in over a decade, so we're going to engage in that process. We just want to make sure we're continuously mindful of our not only our attributes but also our future needs, so that we're putting ourselves in the best possible situation for our students and their futures. One other announcement: our Cardinals Give Back Day. The junior senior high school is going to be postponing this day to October or sometime in the fall. It was originally scheduled for the middle of May. It's in large part due to factors which ultimately stem from an abnormally warm winter and some of our larger project bases already being accomplished that we typically work with. So that will be coming up in the fall. And then any individuals who have traditionally received support from our schools at this time of year, you can still contact the junior senior high school office and they'll work with you to see what they can do to provide that support. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Superintendent Trado? All right, we will move on to our financial business. First up is donations.
Yeah, in Appendix A, we have a donation that has been offered, and I will move this resolution to accept donations and grants as provided for in Minnesota statutes, that the Fairmont Area School Board of Education gratefully accept the following donation from the Fairmont firefighters, $1,000, designated purpose for the Fairmont trap team. Again, thank you to Fairmont firefighters for your generous donation.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion by Dan, a second by Julie. Any discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Jen?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Mike?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Mari? Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. And we'll move on to our financial reports and bills. Jessica?
Yes, so you have the wire and transfer sheet from March 7th to April 3rd. We have a larger one, but they're all routine payroll. It's our monthly 25th payroll, so it's large with the payroll items on there. Otherwise, for bills, our Southern Plains billing and transportation make up the majority of the total dollar amount that we're paying. Otherwise, there is, I just want to point out a bill to Bulford Tree Farm of $3,825, and that is part of the ash tree replacement that will be ongoing for the next couple of years as the school replaces all of the ash trees that are on the site. So, do you have any other questions about any of the bills?
If there are no other questions, I would make a motion to approve wire transfers for March 7th, 2024 to April 3rd, 2024, and payment of the March 26th and April 9th, 2024 bills.
Thank you. We have a motion by Julie, second by Mari. Discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no old business, but moving on to new business, you have before you an Appendix B, the Fairmont Area Schools 2024-2025 school year calendar. The calendar committee consisting of some teachers, administrators, myself as a school board member, and we met several times, and after 6 tweaks to the calendar, we ended up where we usually do on a traditional calendar. But just to note, the first day of school for conferences will be September 3rd at both the junior, senior high school and the elementary school. And the first day of classes will be September 4th for the junior, senior high school, and September 5th for the elementary school. The winter break will be 2 weeks in length, beginning December 23rd, ending January 3rd being the last day. And the last scheduled day of school, probably the last day of school, as depending on what Old Man Winter brings us next year, will be June 3rd. And this calendar has also been reviewed by the Operations Committee. I would entertain a motion to approve the calendar as presented in Appendix B.
Just a question on graduation then, will be on June 8th?
No.
Is that what the plan, or would there be June 1st?
June 1st. Graduation is always the first Sunday in June.
I understand that, but there's students will be attending school after graduation though this year. Usually we have it.
No, not always. The seniors will not be as long as they.
I mean, we've granted them that
Yeah.
honor
Yeah.
to be out early, but
Yep.
just to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
You want a motion to approve the calendar? I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have a second? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. All right, moving on to personnel. We have a retirement.
Deb DeBoer, teacher's aide, has indicated her intention to retire at the end of the school year. Deb served our district for 33 years. First of all, thank you for that. So with that, I'll make a motion to accept the retirement of Deb DeBoer, teacher aide, effective June 3rd, 2024.
I'll second. Thank you. We have a motion by Mari, second by Jen. Any discussion?
Just, Mari mentioned it, but just a huge thank you to Deb. 33 years of service to the school district is absolutely amazing, and a lot of students that she's impacted, a lot of teachers that she's worked with, obviously a lot of experience that will definitely be missed. So I know she's not in attendance tonight, but just want to personally thank Deb for all that she's done for Fairmont Area Schools.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. We have resignations. We have, is that me? We have 4 before us.
I'll make, we have 4. I'll make a motion that we accept the resignations of the following individuals, all effective June 6, 2024, which is the end of this school year. Megan Hawkins, a social studies teacher. Adam Carstenson's a CTE teacher. Amanda Y, a math teacher. And Laura Ellis, a social studies teacher.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mike, second by Jen. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. We have some hirings in employment. 6 of them.
Okay. Yes, we have 6 individuals. Some are past graduates, which is good to hear and see that they are coming back to the district. So employment, Principal Rosen has recommended that Emily Lyle be hired as a long-term substitute elementary teacher for approximately 6 weeks. Tyler Garrison is recommending that Candy Santiago be hired as an evening elementary custodian. Principals Brusky and Schultz are recommending that Fiona Green be hired as an EL teacher for the district. And then Principals Brusky and Schultz again are recommending that Tracy Lardy be hired as a high school dean of students. Whereas Tracy previously served as a Fairmont Junior Senior High School Dean of Students from 2015 to 2020. And again, Principals Brusky and Schultz are recommending that Andrew Moeller be hired as the high school agriculture teacher. And the Principals Brusky and Schultz again are recommending that Grant Strukel be hired as a high school social studies teacher. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the hirings. Emily Lyle, a long-term substitute EL teacher, salary BA, step 1, effective 4/19/2024 to 6/3/2024. Candy Santiago, elementary evening custodian, salary of step 1, effective April 1st, 2024. Fiona Green, EL teacher, salary of BA, step 3, effective August 26, 2024. Tracy Lardy, high school dean of students, salary of MA, step 17, effective August 26, 2024. Andrew Muller, high school agriculture teacher, salary of BA, step 1, effective August 26, 2024. And Grant Strukel, high school social studies teacher, salary of BA, step 1, effective August 26, 2024.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Julie, second by Jen. Any discussion?
Is that Joe Struppel's son?
Yes.
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 Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to board committee reports. Policy Committee. Jen?
Seems like forever ago, but we met March 19th and reviewed 11 different policies. We'll continue to table the policy potential consideration of the school library materials policy. We went over several other policies that are related to board operations, and we'll review those at the next committee meeting after we've kind of read through those more. But no changes really were made with any of those. They're pretty much the same, so.
Thank you. Any questions for Policy Committee? All right. Thank you, Jen. Southern Plains Board meeting did not happen. Operations Committee meeting, Dan?
We met on Wednesday, April 3rd, and it was quite an extensive meeting. We talked about the investment of the funds from the sale, the auction that we had this past fall for the Hunt Farm property, which did net us a total of $1,263,110. Our business manager has been researching different providers for management of those funds, and we will hopefully have a decision on how that will go down here before the end of the school year here, would be fair to say. And then we also have a partnership agreement with New Way K&H Cooperative, who will be supervising the small parcel of land that we did keep that is farmable. Students will be taking part and engaging in all aspects of the farming process, and New Way K&H will be having one of their farmers kind of run through with the classes to help do that. It's a 3-year agreement that will take place beginning immediately. We looked at the per diem for athletes attending state tournaments. They had been getting meal money of $20 a day per student. Our committee recommended that we increase that to $30 per day, and also looking at some different methods of how that is dispersed. We had a review of some facility rental requests. We have talked a little bit about our facility needs assessment that Superintendent Trado mentioned here a little while ago, and we look forward to hearing a lot more about that here in the immediate future. Enrollment projections, budget planning, the school calendar that we approved, summer wages for student workers. We have recommended setting the hourly rate for seasonal work at $15 an hour for the summer. Summer project updates from our Director of Building and Grounds, and also a little bit about the item with the emerald ash borer with the trees. It's going to take us approximately 3 years and we estimate that it'll cost more than $100,000 to remove and replace all of those trees that will be killed by the emerald ash borer. So it was. If you thought this was a long meeting, then that was actually a long meeting.
I just want to add one thing with Hunt Farm Land Management. We already have our first student field trip scheduled for next Tuesday, April 16th. So they're going to start doing, I believe, some soil sampling and things of that nature out there with representatives from New AKH Cooperative. So we're off and running with that. It's already begun. So our kids will be out there next Tuesday, and I know we're going to do a separate piece with our local media highlighting that partnership and the details of it. So more to come on that too.
Thank you.
So where will, like, the testing, is that done on site then? Do they go to do they come back to the school district? You know?
I don't know that detail. I just know they're going on site Tuesday and working with them.
Okay. Just
already.
curious,
So,
because I
yeah,
know,
that's
like,
a great question.
our samples are taken in our fields, and they are taken to whoever
Right.
takes that. So I just didn't know if there was a ability to bring that back to for the students' sake, to bring that testing equipment to
Sure.
Fairmont.
That detail I can't
Okay.
answer.
Just curious.
Yep, it's a good question.
All right. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Motion by Jen, second by Mari. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Can't hear me anyway, so.